For anyone who doesn't know who Sean Anderson is, he started HOXO Media about 6.5 years ago. He's got the RAG podcast, which is about 4.5 years ago, and he's one of the most, if not the most recognisable person in recruitment on LinkedIn. What does it look like, right? So let's just say, for instance, we're 2 years down the line now, we've been posting consistently, right? What does it look like to your desk? What sort of an impact would you say is average for someone who's been posting for like a year or 2 years down the line?
I've got clients that in a year are getting 100,000 eyeballs a month on their content. So every week they're getting over 25,000 views. I think if you're getting that in a month, you're doing well. But if you're getting that a week, 25,000 eyeballs a week is pretty impressive. I'd like doubling their billings in 2 years, easy. But they're doing it in a way as well that is sustainable. You're not as burnt out. You're not chasing everyone. You're not in the hamster wheel as much.
How do you get quick wins?
It's all about consistency, Jeff. There is no shortcut. It's doing it every day or every other day.
So welcome everybody to the first ever season 1, episode 1 of the Power Hour podcast. And we've started off, I don't think we're going to be able to get any better guests than we've started off with, to be honest. So for anyone who doesn't know who Sean Anderson is, he started HOXO Media about 6.5 years ago. He's got the RAG podcast, which is about 4.5 years ago, and he's one of the most, if not the most recognisable person in recruitment on LinkedIn. So thank you very, very much for joining me today, Sean. Honoured to have you. I really, really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything I've missed out that you'd like to add?
No, not really. No, I think you've I feel flattered. But no, it's it's I guess I practice what I preach, right? So a lot of the stuff I do is coach people and train people and manage people's personal brands. I've had to be the kind of the focus of doing it myself to know I can do it and to learn it. So 6.5 years ago, I didn't have those skills. I believed in it, but I didn't have those skills. And I'm confident that, I feel like I've made an impact on our industry, only a small one, but I'm proud of it. And I'm delighted to be here, mate. And to be the first guest, I'm honoured.
Well, the thing is you touched on it there. The whole point of this particular podcast is everyone's going to be invited. The idea is for whoever's listening, they can use the information to level up their game. So this is here to help recruiters be even better than what they already are. But yeah, you touched on it there. So some people might know this, some people might not, but you left like an 860K a year desk. You was absolutely smashing it on desk in your career in recruitment, and you set up HOXO. And I remember when that was, because I remember looking at it on LinkedIn, from the very beginning. And at that time, LinkedIn sort of branding and personal branding wasn't nowhere near what it was.
Wasn't a thing.
Wasn't even a thing, really. Yeah. So you've left all of that. So that's how much you believe in it. But what was it that you actually saw that sort of motivated you to do that?
Good question. I've answered this a few times before, but the numbers. 725 was my best year, right? 725 was my best year as an individual, but I built a team of over £1 million, and then I ran a £2.6 million contract business when I was leaving, right? So I wasn't the individual biller at the end. I had about 2 years of transitioning away from being the top biller to being the manager of the contract business. But I still earning best part of 200 grand a year and having a good life. It all started when I decided with my business partner and my best mate, Amma, that we wanted to launch our own company, right? So HOXO was originally a recruitment firm. It was like we had Bullhorn and Sonovate and everything set up. Like we were a recruitment business at the beginning. And it was in that final year, 2016 was my last year in an agency, where I'd bought a house the year before, and I knew it was like systems go. And it's exciting, but it's daunting. And then I was looking at ways to do it that would be, different and innovative. And I found myself going to like the internet to try and find stuff about like running recruitment firms, right? I wanted to like read and listen and watch and consume. I loved podcasts back then. I still do. And I watched Instagram and YouTube, and I'll be honest, I couldn't find almost anything. Like there was the odd like downloadable document from James Caan or something, but the actual information I wanted to give me the confidence and direction to start my own recruitment firm didn't exist. Not in video form. And so that led me into a world of watching a lot of other shows about other businesses. And I realized these people that are teaching me, I don't even know them. Like there's guys in the US, I'm listening to podcasts every week and I feel like I know them. I'm buying into these people. I don't know any of them, but I'm buying shit off them. Like I'm spending 700 quid a month there on a project or on a course. And I'm like, they're getting loads of money out of me and I've never met them. Whereas in recruitment, I was used to standing up at a desk on a contract business, driving all this activity, 10 hiring manager calls before 10 a.m. and cold calling. I mean, look, we had a wicked business. We used to network and build relationships and coffees and beers and lunches. It was an amazing market I recruited in, but it was still heavily all about who you knew and how you knew them was going for it. But so I thought, could I build a recruitment business that's built on content first? That's built on, could I be someone like the guys who I was listening to and help other candidates and clients in insurance be build their careers, but virtually? Now, I still was going to do the recruitment bit, but the way of getting in the door and building gravitas and credibility was going to be through content. And also the second byproduct of that, which I didn't really think about at the time until a bit later, was that there was nothing in my non-compete clause that said I couldn't produce content that my current clients and candidates could watch. So there was everything. I couldn't ring them, but I could educate them. I could nurture them. I could still they could see me every day. So I had this idea that I was going to build a recruitment firm called HOXO that was going to be the most well-known insurance change management recruitment firm. That was it. And then I went on a journey to go and see if anyone else in recruitment was doing it, right? Because I was like, can I be like, can I learn from other people? No one. I'm talking no one. So I'm like, this could be a bigger thing than just me. This could be an industry that needs to change here. And again, my business partner thought was mental. And I'm like, what if we created a business that actually helped other recruitment companies execute on a vision that I've got? And Amma was like, I think it's complete nonsense, mate. Like you say, we're running a big contract business. We've got money in the bank. Let's just do what we're going to do. And I convinced him that we'd start HOXO Media for 6 months. And if it didn't work, we'd go back to the original HOXO plan, because we couldn't do both. We had to commit to one. And we were signing clients from month one, and it took off pretty quick. Now, the reality was the product then wasn't what we do now. It was clunky. I didn't know what I was doing. I brought a marketing guy in that I knew personally. That didn't work out. We had to buy him out. It was a bit of a mess. But one thing I did do is I went to LinkedIn every day in 2017, March 2017, and I started talking to the market. I started educating, I shared ideas, and I built my personal brand. And I got it to the point where in 2 years, I was getting 1 million views a month.
That's madness.
1 million a month. And we'd made 2 million quid in revenue that I could track all to LinkedIn. Everything was LinkedIn. I'd made outbound cold calls early on, and everyone was like, some people listened, but the closability of a client that came inbound on LinkedIn was like 90% easier than trying to close someone that I'd rang out the blue. And so I realized, ditch cold calling, fuck that off, and just, pardon my French, I'm sorry if you don't want me to swear on your brand new show, but
yeah, I'm from Bethnal Green, mate. So I don't know not to swear.
Well, so I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and so that's where it all came about.
So now, I mean, look, you was very, very quickly LinkedIn famous, right? That's how I would look at it. So what is it like to be LinkedIn famous?
I wouldn't say, I don't think I'm LinkedIn famous in general. I think I'm pretty well known in one market, which is the one I've focused on. I don't care about anyone. Yeah, in recruitment, I think I'm pretty well known. In outside of that, no one knows who I am. But I mean, what's it like? I'm doing it for business, right? I'm not doing it for vanity. I don't give a shit. Like I don't even use Instagram or Facebook or any of it. I'm not into social media. I don't even like social media. But I believe in sales. I love sales. I love recruitment. I love the industry. And I believe that it's a better job when people know you, when people recognize you. Like, so how does it feel? It feels good that I can DM someone and they reply. Even if they don't want my services, they typically say, hey, Sean, good to hear from you, mate. Like, they're a bit flattered that I've DM'd them. And I get inundated with messages of people saying, hey, I love the show, I love the podcast. Can you help us? And so I've managed to take an idea and execute it, and it's worked, and it's made me, I've got a 30-man business all over the world We work with 5,000 recruitment consultants globally, with 350 agencies in every continent. So it's given me a chance to penetrate markets and locations that I've never even been to. So for that reason, it feels really good. But there is some funny moments. Like I was in a kebab shop after. I live in Sheffield, and my family, my wife's family, are all Sheffield United fans, right? And I'm a Man City fan, but I love going to Bramall Lane now, and they're my second team. Anyway, end of the season, they get promoted, and I'm in a kebab shop after the game, and I'm a bit drunk, and I'm stood ordering a kebab, and all I heard was HOXO, HOXO, and I'm like, what the fuck? And there's these two lads in the corner who work in recruitment who recognize me, and I'm like. So they come over and they're like, chatting away, and I was like, this is just weird. Like, it's so weird. And like, I was on a stag do at Stansted Airport with my business partner at 5 a.m. in a queue to get through the security. And it's 5 a.m. You're knackered, you've not slept. He's dressed like a clown. Everyone's having a laugh. We're in this massive queue, and some bloke taps me on the shoulder. He's like, you Sean from HOXO by any chance? He's like a recruitment owner in Nottingham. And I was like, yeah, like, it's weird. It's really odd when people recognize you, but it's nice as well.
I think that now and again, I think that the whole point of doing it is not for vanity. If anything, like it's for money. Really, like that, and that's ultimately what we're here to do, isn't it? You're running a business, you want to make as much money. I want to
build a business for my family, for my people. I want to create something significant, and it's allowing me to do it. I
think that when you've got, so for me personally, right, I find this stuff quite uncomfortable, right? Even though I can speak to people on the phone constantly, I have to really push myself. Even though I was really looking forward to this conversation, I still have to push myself. So what would you say to somebody who's maybe they're a bit scared or a bit embarrassed to sort of embrace personal branding on LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, there's three reasons people don't do it, right? That come up every single time I meet anyone. The first one is ideas. So there's a level of creativity people don't have. They get mental block, and they don't know what to write. They just don't know what to write about. They don't know where to start. The second one is confidence. So it's like, what will people think of me if I do say what I think? Imposter syndrome, especially if you're early on in your career. Like, does anyone actually want to know what I've got to say at the age of 25 or whatever? And that can affect people at different levels. Like you say, you're in you've been in the industry a long time, but it still affects you. What will people want to hear from me? And most people's brain go to the worst case scenario first, and that's just a natural way we're wired. So there's like, they instantly like, will clients and candidates fire me, and people won't want to work with me, and they go all this, And then the third thing is time. People see it as this massive, overwhelming task that could take forever, and so they don't want to. They're already on the hamster wheel recruiting, and it's busy, right? So I would say that if you feel any of those three things, then you're normal. That's exactly what the industry feels. And that is what my whole business is designed to solve. It's to give you a plan that means you can always produce top performing content without overly being creative. It gives you the support so that you can get out of your own mind and confidently speak, but also that you can share it with others. You can ask me and my team for advice. We'll read your content before you post it if you want. Like, we'll give you that confidence that actually this is worthwhile. And then we'll also help you see the world in a glass half full mindset. Because I think if you genuinely sat there and looked at the reasons why it would work and what might happen if your content goes well, most people don't even look in that direction, but it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And the final thing is we've built a system called the 3X system, which means we can get you to execute everything in 3 30-minute slots a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 minutes, that's it, and you're done. And if you can nail, all those three things, it's so easy. So that to answer your question, anyone who's worried about what people are going to think, it's a process problem more than anything. It's like going into a recruitment company with a lot of rookies and saying, right, guys, we're going to do really well. We're going to build the best recruitment team. And your whole training is just telling people to recruit more. And they're like, what do you mean? Just recruit more. Come on, let's go on. Let's recruit. Let's do it. That is literally the training around personal branding or content production in our sector. Just get on, guys, just put something out there. Put some content out. Go on, put more content out. They just keep telling people to do it, but they don't tell them how. Like, we work with Robert Walters and Adecco, two of the biggest recruitment firms in the world. they don't have this internally built. So they're leaning on me to train their teams on a global scale to be able to give them that platform. Equally, I work with loads of people like you and one-man bands and everything in between. But it's about having a process and a plan you can follow.
Yeah, and I think that's like, as well as recruiters, a lot of us are used to those systems and processes, and we've everyone started as a rookie, and we've learned the business usually from going, look, you have to do A, B, C, this is your playbook, you do this, you do that, and you do this. And so to have that kind of thing to sort of lean on and to guide you does take the edge off of things, definitely. And like what you say about 3 posts a week, and make sure that those posts are come off the back of the conversations that you're having with your clients and your candidates. I love that, because I just think to myself, my time is limited, obviously, right, as everyone else's. And the times that when people say like I haven't got the time to do it, I just feel like I've not got the time not to do it.
Yeah.
Because I can reach so many more people with this, right? Most people are going to tune in to see you as an example, but they're seeing me as well. I can't reach them people. I can't touch them people individually. But then when they're thinking about rec to rec, they're thinking, oh, I'm one of the people that are in their mind, for instance. And I can tell you from the other side of it, not that I'm sort of, I've not adopted it as much as what I'm about to, but the reason why I'm going so full-fledged on it is because of the fact that I've had quite a lot of inbound candidates come to me and inbound clients come to me just off the small amount of stuff that I've been doing.
Yeah. Think about it, right? Even if you get 1,000 views on a post, which is actually really achievable on LinkedIn, right? It's not a massive amount to get. Because most people in our sector have about 3,000 to 5,000 connections, right? Then we're being paid to grow a network, right? So it's not like we're sat there with no connections building a brand. That's hard. But when you're being paid every day to connect and engage, you're already starting with a good growing base. So if you can then get 1,000 eyeballs per day or every other day, let's say 3,000 a week, you could not phone 3,000 in a year.
No.
You can't do it. It's not possible. Honestly, if you have 10 good calls a day, that's 50 good calls a week. That ain't, let's say they're all individual people, which doesn't make sense and wouldn't happen. But let's say it is. And let's say then 50 weeks of the year you only have 2 weeks off. That's 2,500 a year. If you were doing all of those things perfectly every day, which you won't, right? But if you did 1,000 views a day, 3 times a week, that's 3,000. That's more.
And the thing is as well is that it's kind of like you're being able to pitch at scale as well. And when what my experience is that when a client picks up the phone to you, instead of you picking up a phone to the client, that conversation is an enjoyable conversation to have. That relationship has been built on a mutually there's mutual respect going on there, and you can build that relationship stronger and better. And I would say that the majority of every deal I've done has come from LinkedIn, one way or another. There's been a few that I've had like school friends that now own recruitment businesses or high up in recruitment businesses that have, hooked me up a little bit along the way, right? But in general, everything I've done has come from LinkedIn. I started with a telephone and like a diary and a piece of paper, and I went on LinkedIn with no money, right? And I was doing all outbound. And then obviously as your journey progressed, and I started thinking to myself, I might do a few of these things that he's talking about because I know who he is and I don't know who he is. And if he was to tell me something, I would trust him. And I think that's a fundamental, isn't it? You need to build that trust. So look, there's going to be a lot of people now, Sean, that are either new to business development or haven't done business development in ages, but they need to now. So could you lay out for them what you believe would be the best tactics to use on LinkedIn to turn cold calls into warm calls, please?
Yeah, on a high level, it's really simple. Like firstly, you want to be connecting with them. So you want to strategically connect, not just because you've spoken to them. Like every day you want to be connecting with a number of hiring managers. You're allowed 100 a week. So that's 20 a day if you wanted to go at it. So, because when you're connected, there's a good chance they'll see your stuff. If they're not, they won't. So make sure you're always connecting. Second thing is engaging with people that connect, little message here, little message there, little like on their comments, on their stuff. If they're liking stuff, follow it, like it. Then, you can be a you can follow them around a bit and make sure they're aware of you. And then you want to be putting out content that you think is going to be aligned to what they are interested in. So this is harder when you've not done BD before, but if you've got people in the business that have, and you can lean on them, you want to be having, putting out content that's genuinely designed to help them, whether that be to help them achieve more or solve a problem. It's always one of those two things. So if hiring managers are struggling with the fact that, I don't know, counter offers are a big issue or whatever, then you can give them advice you could put something out there around supporting them with how to, deal with counter offers or whatever like this. But you've got to think, what is the genuine market saying right now? What is the genuine feeling in the market? You're not going to get much engagement if you're talking about things they don't care about.
Yeah.
And that's why the phone's so important, because the phone is your daily news feed of real information where you get it. LinkedIn is also cool because but the phone is your authentic, genuine touch point to the market, which gives you that trigger to say, well, I've heard that 3 times now, right? If I hear it 3 times, there's something in it, then I can post about it or whatever. Pardon me. So it's about those things. It's about connecting, engaging, and posting and going round and round and round. And if you do that consistently, it'll win. You'll win. People will recognize you. People know who you are. And when you reach out, they'll know you. Like, half the battle is calling someone who doesn't know you don't know, and trying to build a relationship. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And actually, there's that many people doing it. It's not that different either. So when you can be seen as a credible or interesting source of information, you've added a little bit of value to someone, and you reach out and they like the fact that they're familiar with you and they like what you've been putting out. The response rates are incredible. Like you say, if I message you out the blue before we'd spoken, you're like, well, I know Sean. Yeah, I'd love to have a chat. And that is literally how it works. You can't expect it all overnight, but you can get wins pretty quick when you do this consistently.
So how do you get quick wins?
From what I've just said, but it's all about consistency, Jeff. There is no shortcut. It's doing it every day or every other day. It's like someone who makes 1 phone call a day and they're brilliant at it. Do you think they're going to bill more than the guy who makes 50 calls a day, who's quite average?
Yeah, it's still a numbers game, isn't it?
They're not. Yeah. That's what I come off a client call today is quality content inconsistently going to beat average content consistently? I said, absolutely not. It's not, because numbers, like volume wins. Ultimately, volume wins.
And the thing is that recruiters are quite consistent people. We have to pick up the phone every single day. We have to turn up every single day. We have to deal with interview processes and counter offers like you just mentioned. And so we're doing these things every single day. And I think as well, there's a bit of sometimes when I'm speaking to people about, posting more on LinkedIn and that sort of stuff, they're kind of saying, no, listen, cold calling is the way forward. And it's kind of as if like, well, there's one or the other. The idea is that they're supposed to, and my perspective of it and my experiences is that they complement each other and they make cold calling not as cold.
They don't complement each other because it's not a cold call if they know who you are, is it? Ultimately, it's not. A cold call is someone who has no idea who you are. You don't know who they are. You're calling them out the blue on the off chance that they're going to buy something from you or they're going to be interested. Ultimately, if you're looking at the history of our recruitment sector, years ago, you phoned a number, the phone didn't say who was phoning them. Yeah. It just rang. So people answered the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Then they put people in the middle, the gatekeepers. So we'd have to phone the gatekeepers. And there's always been evolution. Now, desktops, landlines, mobile, everything tells you the hell's ringing you anyway.
Mm.
So if you don't recognize a number and you don't want to talk to that number, you can just click no. But back in the day, you answered it on the off chance it was something interesting or relevant. So the chances of people answering the phone are much lower. Again, if you really are the type of guy who loves cold calling, fucking do it. I think it's crap. I think it's the worst spent way of working ever. I hate it and I don't want to do it. I want to talk to people that know who I am. I want to have a business where I never cold call. And I think more people in the industry think like me. Now, the challenge is their bosses are the ones telling them to cold call because they were trained in 1999 when cold calling was all that was there. So you're dealing with an age and generational problem here, that this younger generation are coming through who don't want to cold call. versus the leadership level that only ever knew cold calling, and there's this friction. You know, the businesses I tend to work with are age irrelevant. They're just progressive thinkers. You know, they realize that there is a better way in 2023, and they're open to change. People that are resistant to change, crack on. I've got no interest in helping them anyway. I don't really care. But if I look at my own day, cold calling burns people out. Even if you're good at it. I was good at it. I fucking made loads of money on it, but I hated it. It burnt me out. And probably had I been doing the working in recruitment how I work now, I probably wouldn't have left recruitment.
Yeah.
Because how can I burn out when every day is full of energy and excitement, and I'm having really good conversations with people who want to talk to me, and I've got this mutual respect from people. That's not a hamster wheel. If I post in the morning, I bugger off on holiday or go out for the day with my kids, everyone's still seeing me for the day. Whereas you, Mr. Cold Call, you're limited to the minutes and hours you can put in. That's it. You have a day off, you get sick, your business stops tomorrow.
And what you said there about, I mean, I also get a lot of people say to me, Jeff, I ain't really got the time to do that. Because obviously when I'm representing candidates as well, from my perspective, it's a lot easier to represent a candidate that people in that market already know is an expert in that market, right? They're highly placeable, right? So, you know, just as like a little hint and tip, if you're thinking about progressing your career, you're listening to this now, this is not going to do you any damage whatsoever. No. You know, this is really going to position you, not just with clients, but with future, you know, employers as well, right?
Yeah, cool.
But you know, when I say I haven't got time, this is a way to leverage time. This is you cannot contact enough people like we've just gone over, you know. So
if you don't know how to do something, it's gonna probably feel more time consuming. Like it's like the first time you do anything takes longer than when you've done it 100 times, right? Anything, you know, like the first time you crack open any project, do it over and over again, it gets easier. So the first time might feel time consuming, but actually when you get in the habit, it's not. I mean, I've got 30 employees, 5,000 recruitment clients in terms of individuals, 300 agencies, I'm 350. I've got 2 stepkids, 2 dogs, a wife. I've got all sorts going on, mate. I'm having a baby in 8 weeks. Nice. There's not many more people that could be busier than me in terms of the different touch points and people that need your attention daily. Yeah. But I manage this easily because I've got a plan. It's repeatable. I'm not going to this like depth of willpower to get to. I know what I'm going to do in the day. I know when I'm going to do it, and I know what I'm going to do. And it's so easy. It's so easy. And that is the place I want to get people to. And I can get. I've done it. I mean, we've proven it. Our testimonials, our track record is unbeatable in our sector right now. Like it's unbeatable.
I mean, like just one more thing on time, I think, because it is such a big objection that people do have, and I do honestly believe that maybe people aren't being as honest with themselves that is their objection. You know, I think a lot of it is, you know, like you say, a little bit of resistance to change, a little bit, maybe there's a little bit of fear in there, a bit of, you know, whatever. So yeah, with the time element, as you've sort of gone over, and we've gone over it multiple times, it's really not that time consuming. It's just about getting it done. And
I can get everything done in 30 minutes, like everything, which again, look at you. It's interesting. Take a look at your iPhone and look at the apps you look at in a day and how much time you spend on them, and it'll fucking frighten you, right? You're probably spending way more than 30 minutes on LinkedIn, on your phone, on Instagram, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Sky Sports News, on Pinterest, whatever the hell you're into. You waste time daily on shit. You do. And the amount of people who just scroll LinkedIn and aimlessly spend time on it, they're not maximizing that time. So time, we've all got the same amount of time in a day. It's what you do with it, you know? Yeah. And it's those two things. It's perception of the project and how hard it's going to be, and then it's, you know, it's finding time in the amount you waste. There's no way the industry is full of hyper productive people. It's just not. People procrastinate, they slack, they chat to each other, they waste time. We're human beings at the end of the day. We procrastinate. That's our nature. So for most of us, it's about tapping into time we already spend doing nonsense tasks. Yeah. If you are flat out every single day filling jobs and finding jobs, and you've got no time to find, then you probably don't need it anyway. Crack on, and you're probably making a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, but the people that really want to take themselves to the next level, they find that 30 minutes. I mean, it's really not that much to do.
I think once you get it in your head that ultimately by doing like a 1 minute video or something, you're demonstrating your capabilities at scale, and you can, you know, you really sell yourself on that, you'll find that 1 minute, you know, at desk, you know, and, you know, so, okay, cool. So I don't, you know, you do a lot of personal branding stuff, right? But also what you do is you brand companies, don't you? Right? So recruitment companies, which, I can tell you from sitting on my side of the fence, there's a big market for that, mate. You know, a lot of the times you're trying to explain to somebody, like a candidate, about like a really good company, really, you know, genuinely look after people, they've got excellent clients, that sort of stuff. And like, send me a link to the website, and you know, I don't want to do it, sure. Do you know what I mean? Right? Mine included in that, right? But the question I've got, because this has come from, and you know, this is off the back of the conversation that I have, right? So how much easier do you feel like it would be to recruit for a brand that's branded well?
Well, it's night and day, isn't it? Like, it's night and day. If they reckon now the average candidate in any sector wants to consume at least 2 hours worth of content per company they're interviewing with. Like, that's a stat that's come out. So candidates are looking to connect to a business. They want to see social proof. They want to read on testimonials, cases. They want to understand your culture, you know, and most in our sector, which is all we're talking about, have next to nothing. Some don't even have a work for us page. You know, they put all their effort externally, and then their biggest problem is hiring internally, and they have nothing to showcase their culture or to put them. So I look at the branding work we do is very often revolving around companies that are, say, 3 to 5 years old, or they've not done a branding project in 3 to 5 years. And where they are right now is not evident on their website. It's funny because we've just gone live today. I'm about to put a post up after I record this about my new website. So go and check out www.hoxomedia.com. For the last 3 years since the pandemic, our website was built. We weren't doing then what we were doing now. And we've been evolving our product set so much that it didn't showcase it. So people would not know we did company branding. They wouldn't know we had a management product for personal brands. They didn't know what we did. We just looked like a training program. That was it. So we're a bit like the barber that has a terrible haircut because he never gets around to himself. We were working on so many companies. We've done our own. But as the owner of the company, it feels great to look at your website and think, you know what? It really does say who we are, what we do. And if anyone externally is looking, I feel proud. I feel like it's going to put us in the right, because when you phone someone, the first thing they're going to do is check out your LinkedIn profile and your website. They're going to check you out. If they don't know you, they're going to want to know how legit you are. They're going to want to read. You want to make a good impression, because there's 900 million other people on LinkedIn, and there's 30,000 other recruitment agencies in the UK that they could be looking at. So you've got to appreciate the value in someone's attention and make the most of it.
And I think as well, it's really overlooked. Like you said, most companies haven't even got a lot of companies would say haven't got like a really solid work for us page. So it's like, it's talent attraction, and that the idea is to be as attractive as possible, isn't it? You know,
100%. So I mean, the value of a recruiter coming into your business is massive. So is it not worth spending the right amount of money and time to get right, so that when people see it, they're genuinely interested and compelled? And it goes back to the personal brand again. A candidate with a personal brand is much more placeable, but a client with a personal brand is much more attractive too. So if people already recognize the founder and the team and think they're awesome, they're on LinkedIn, they're always sharing advice, they look like a cool company, it makes the candidates more likely to want to work for you. You know, some of my clients, like Jez Hurd in Manchester, is probably one of the most well-known recruitment owners. He's only been going for a year, Scale Genesis, and he's so out there. He's so confident. He chats so much funny stuff on LinkedIn, but his whole team have come inbound, experienced people who want to work for Jez because of his style on LinkedIn. Stuart Mitchell as well in Hampton North in the US, 40,000 cybersecurity connections, $1 million a year biller in cyber, all from his brand. But actually, the 4 recruiters he's already brought into the business in a year all chose to work with him because of his brand. So it has it can affect positively every part of your business, is what I'm
Most
saying.
definitely. Okay, so look, one of the main reasons why I want to, started doing this podcast, so there was two main reasons. The first thing was obviously to try and do everything I can, bring people to the table like you who can help recruiters level up, right? And that's kind of like the guts of this kind of thing, right? Yeah. And the reason why I decided I wanted to go more of an online recruiter than offline recruiter is because I was listening to something that Ryan Serhant was talking about. I love him. I think he's brilliant. Yeah, you get that. And he was saying, like, where do you want to be in 2 years? And you have to do what you want to do now to get to where you want to go in 2 years. So my goal is I want to be the most recognisable rec to rec in the UK and the US within 2 years, right? Which is going to be hard because there's some really, really well-branded people out there in my space, right? So I would say, the question I've got for you is, right?
I've got to go in 4 minutes, so let's...
Cool, no problem. This can be the last one, right? So, and this is really good as well, because this is the last kind of like persuasion piece, really, for people.
Yeah.
So, what does it look like, right? So let's just say, for instance, we're 2 years down the line now, we've been posting consistently, right? What does it look like to your desk? What sort of an impact would you say is average for someone who's been posting for like a year or 2 years down the line?
Well, I've got clients that in a year are getting 100,000 eyeballs a month on their content. So every week they're getting over 25,000 views, which I think if you're getting that in a month, you're doing well. But if you're getting that a week, 25,000 eyeballs a week is pretty impressive. So they're getting 1.2 million views a year. Off that, they're generating every day they go to LinkedIn, there's opportunities that they're opening up. They're not having to cold call as much, barely ever. They're getting online referrals as opposed to off. Referrals have always been a word of mouth tactic that are the best. But I've got clients that get referred by people through LinkedIn that they don't know either of them. So it's like, let's say I don't know you, and one of your clients goes, I need to build a brand. You're like, Sean at HOXO. Because you follow me, you've referred me, but I don't know either of you really. Like, I've not done any work for that. And that is happening for my recruitment clients now. So billings wise, I think it's so dependent on your market. Are you any good at recruitment? This doesn't make you good at recruitment. It gives you opportunity, right? You still got to be good at doing deals and allocating the right candidates and shit. But good recruiters coming in are like doubling their billings in 2 years, easy. But they're doing it in a way as well that is sustainable. You're not as burnt out. You're not chasing everyone. You're not in the hamster wheel as much. It's more, you can breathe a bit. People want to work with you. If a client comes to you and wants to work with you, you can dictate the timelines. You can dictate the terms. You've got much more control. When you're begging someone to work with you and you're fighting every other agency off, you've got to operate at what the client wants. You've got to go in at their terms, their demands. And it should be, you want it to be the other way around. So 2 years is a great period of time to look. And in 2 years, I think everyone should have the ambition to be the most well-recognized recruiter in their space, to hit a revenue target that they are excited by, but do it in a way that is sustainable and isn't cold, burnout, cold. Unless you love it, which I don't believe most people do, then it's a better way of working.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much. Like I said, share this with me. I'd love to get it out there and share it with my network. I wish you the best of luck. I think you're a legend. I appreciate your support in what I'm doing. And I hope this takes off as well and you get some good business from it.
I really appreciate you, Sean. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate. See you soon.